Podcast.net. But we have to start off with Borussia Dortmund defeating PSG and reaching the Champions League final. Man, if you told me at the beginning of this season we'll be talking about Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League final, I would have laughed in your face. But Edin Terzic and the rest of his team has pulled off the miracle. They have reached the Champions League final, and they did it by playing a combination of some exciting football and very, very good defending. Very, very good defending, especially in the semifinals, not conceding a single goal. They let up a few opportunities, especially in the first leg, and then a lot near the end of the game while they were up 2-0. But apart from that, they had some warriors defending back there with Schlotterbeck, with Hummels, with Sule. It was warrior-like defending, and it was just not PSG's day. The opportunities that they had, especially down the stretch, hitting the post multiple times, just like the first leg, it's just disappointing. They had a lot of opportunities down that stretch to at least put the pressure on Dortmund, but they really just couldn't take advantage of it. And attacking wise, it didn't seem like in the first half, while they were within a goal, they just, it was a little bit cagey. It was good defending going on both sides, but PSG didn't really put a lot of pressure on Dortmund. Dortmund were kind of a little bit comfortable when they were up. When you look at the shots, yes, it looks 30-7, 5 shots on target to 3, but a lot of those 30 shots came whenever they were already down 2-0. They're pushing guys forward left and right. Get this guy up there. Let's get some numbers in the box. There was a lot of times that they just put in a ball in the put a cross in and prayed. And when you're going up against Hummels, Schlotterbeck, Sule when he came on, these big defenders, these tall defenders, you're not going to be able to beat them in the area wise. Hummels got the goal on the set piece. And whenever Borussia Dortmund got that goal, it just seemed like any sort of tension, tension that they might have, any sort of, fear that they have while playing was kind of relieved. Not saying I saw that beforehand, but once you get that goal, once you get that monkey off your back, once you get that cushion, it just seems like, okay, now we can defend for our lives. It's fine if we give up one goal. We have 2 goals that we can defend, a 2-goal lead that we can defend. And they played more freely. I thought Füllkrug was actually very, very good this game, especially in that first half. His build-up, his ability to hold up the ball created an opportunity early with Ryerson striking it. When he got on the ball, he just seemed to allow his Borussia Dortmund players to come into play. He relieved pressure on them whenever they were, under pressure. They were able to play him the ball and just to hold it a little bit, just to give Dortmund some sort of outlet. I thought he did a pretty good job of doing that. And Adeyemi also had an opportunity early in transition. Jadon Sancho didn't really have the game he did in the first leg, but this is a composed victory, very composed. Gonzalo Ramos, he was a surprise addition into that starting 11. I thought it was probably going to be Mbappe, Dembele, Barcola. Hasn't been so, in most of the later rounds of the Champions League. And bringing in Gonzalo Ramos provided something a little bit different, provided a number 9 for them, but he had opportunities, and he just didn't come with his finishing boots. He hasn't really lived up to that standard that he put for himself after that amazing game against Switzerland, scoring that hat-trick. Ever since then, he hasn't really lived up to that standard. And he hasn't lived up to that since he's got to PSG. He gets the start from Luis Enrique today, and he was just not good enough. Ousmane Dembele had a few opportunities, didn't come with his finishing boots, which can be surprising when he only has 2-3 goals all season. Mbappe, wouldn't call him disinterested, but wasn't really in the game. He had a few opportunities. He hit the post on a little half volley where he catch the ball in a weird way, but it didn't seem like he had the dominating effect like a player, a superstar of his kind of caliber should have. The play didn't go through him. I thought he was kind of a dead man walking kind of in the attack. It didn't seem like he was really involved as much as he should have been. It was just disappointing all around for PSG, and a missed opportunity for PSG, because let's face it, this is one of their weaker routes that they've ever gotten to reach the Champions League final. And if they're trying to reach the Champions League final, if they're trying to get to that breakthrough, they got to take advantage of these opportunities. I mean, the bracket completely opened for them. When you look at the fact that Barcelona, they outplayed PSG vast majority of the game, you have to admit that, but vast majority of the tie, but Barcelona ended up getting a red card, and that completely shifts the whole focus of the tie. So at the end of the day, despite PSG missing those chances, I don't have sympathy for them, because they're kind of here based on a red card. So, they're already on they're already kind of here on a technicality in my book. So I'm not giving them a pass because they didn't come with their finishing boots these 2 games. And this is a huge, huge opportunity missed for PSG, which now it just seems like, will they ever reach the champion? Will they ever win the Champions League? It's kind of, they're getting to the Arsenal realm. Is it ever going to happen for them? Is it ever going to happen for them? They've had their years with Zidane. There's Zlatan, Cavani, Neymar. They reached the Champions League final with Neymar and Mbappe. And now Mbappe, according to Mbappe, his final year, which is, it's probably his final year now. Another year of missing out on the Champions League. And now you're going to see Borussia Dortmund to get in. Edin Terzic, who's done a wonderful, wonderful job at Borussia Dortmund, a team that was, I wouldn't say unlucky not to win it last year. It went to the end, but they had their opportunities game in and game out. They had many opportunities. And even in that last game, the way that they bottled it in that last game, I can't even say they were unlucky. I think they were deserved not winning the Bundesliga the way it went through. I thought it was a very, very, not shameful, but a huge missed opportunity for Dortmund not to win Bundesliga last year. But to come back and this year not have a good Bundesliga, not even finish in the top 4, kind of get lucky based on the coefficient, the Champions League coefficient thing, to be able to reach the Champions League next year with the 5th place finish. Yes, it has to do with their success in the Champions League, so maybe luck is not the word, but fortunate to reach the Champions League next year. But despite that, this year with Edin Terzic being able to go on that run, winning a group with AC Milan, PSG, Newcastle. I mean, that's a super group. PSG, Newcastle, AC Milan, Borussia Dortmund. Winning that group, topping that group, and then making a run to the Champions League final despite being on the weaker side. Hats off to them. Bravo to them. And I mean, they are one game away from winning the Champions League. So even if you say they're Real Madrid, Bayern, it takes one game. One game and they are Champions League winners of the world. Marco Reus will be lifting the Champions League in his final game. Wouldn't that be something? It's phenomenal. And we're seeing, the last couple of years, we're seeing some of these more not underdog teams. Because to reach a Champions League final, you kind of have to have like a pedigree. You kind of have to be like a top club. But we're seeing teams we don't normally see at this stage, like a Inter Milan, like a Borussia Dortmund, because the teams that are here most of the time, the Barcelonas, like historically the Barcelonas, the Uniteds has been here a few times. they've kind of fell off, and it's allowing the opportunity for these, for these other big clubs, because they're not a small club. They're still Borussia Dortmund, Inter Milan. They're still huge clubs with huge history. To reach these kind of moments, to reach these finals, hats off to Borussia Dortmund, hats off to Edin Terzic, and they're one game away from reaching the Champions League final.